Hi, I am Dr. Lisa Koche, triple board certified internal medicine doc, and I'm here to talk to you about a really important topic, which is hydration. Because drinking water is a little more interesting, a little bit more detailed than just drinking water, because becoming hydrated does not equal how much water you put down. So why is that? Well, it turns out the human body is at least 60% water. And the thing is that the water we have in our body is great, but if it's not getting inside of our cells, we are not considered hydrated. I check everybody when they come in to see me for muscle mass, for fat mass, and for hydration status. And a lot of my patients are either recommended range or on the low end. So why is that? What does it mean? And it turns out that it's because water itself doesn't go in its natural state when it just comes straight out of, let's say, the tap. It has too many impurities. It's not got enough of a charge that we'll talk about in a second to make it from the bloodstream or from your stomach, absorb the bloodstream to go into your cells and help your body function at a higher level, which is what happens when you're well hydrated. Electrolytes are what are needed in order for the water to get taken from the extracellular space inside the cell. And if you don't have enough electrolytes, meaning things like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, the water can just literally go in. You're doing so good, you're drinking a couple of these a day, and then it'll just come right out in your pee. And many of you may have noticed that, like when you drink more, you just pee it right out. And to a certain degree, it's normal to urinate more, obviously, when you drink more. But you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to help that water get activated and absorbed into the tissues. When you don't have enough electrolytes, when you don't take water in the right way, and you're just drinking straight up kind of flat, lifeless water without the minerals, you can actually dilute your electrolytes. It can have the opposite effect. You can end up with low sodium, which can make you feel even worse than if you weren't drinking as much. So some signs of not being well hydrated can be things that are obvious, like thirst and a dry mouth, but fatigue, some dizziness, low blood pressure, brain fog, and one of the more interesting ones I find is increased appetite. So when I was working years ago, when I started working with gastric bypass patients that were a couple hundred, 100 pounds overweight or more, they would tell me they were always hungry. And after doing some research, seeing that most of the time, if I were able to get them hydrated with 2 liters, depending on how active you are, maybe up to 3, of a good charged water, and again, we're going to explain what that is in a minute, their appetite went significantly down. Most of our diets don't have the electrolytes we need. They're just missing from processed food, from soil that has been depleted. So we find ourselves needing to add minerals in. If you drink alcohol, that depletes minerals. If you're working out a lot or doing a sauna, which I love seeing everybody in their sauna, but it will deplete those minerals that are needed for you to absorb enough water to get into the cells to be adequately hydrated. Plus, if you look at all the studies on athletes, the original Gatorade, which by the way was pretty clean back in the 70s or 80s, whenever it was developed, it was just straight up electrolytes, a little tiny bit of sugar, and water. That was it. Some lime juice or something. So the idea was that the athlete's performance was proven in studies to increase when the proper electrolytes were provided, because the cells could hit a more adequate hydration status, which would enhance muscle performance. So remembering that allows us to be cognizant of the mineral side. And then there's a couple of other new things. So it turns out there's 4 phases to water. Whenever we talk about water, we think about what we learn in school, which is it's liquid, solid, or gas. So there's the liquid water that we drink, solid is ice, gas is steam. They've since discovered a 4th phase, which is called gel. This is a structured type of water, which means that the water molecules, because people think of water as just nothing, right? But it's actually molecules that you can see that are beautiful under a microscope. In structured water, or the fourth phase of gel water, the water lines up in these beautiful hexagonal shapes where the charge that you get from the water is able to be amplified. The water gets inside the cell, just like I was saying, you get more hydrated quicker. Your energetic charge at the cellular level is going to improve. It's going to help your mitochondria. Structured water can happen from something as simple as adding some fruit to your water at the fruit-water interface, the formation of the fourth phase of water. So you want to get some structured water. And stay tuned, more and more coming out all the time on this state of water. And the last is consider vortexing your water. So what does that mean? It means putting movement, and they do have devices on the market now that we can list in the comments where you can leave a glass carafe, and it can stay moving and vortexing the water. And the thoughts are, when the water is moving, more oxygen can get into the molecules, so it'll help oxygenate your tissues even more. Potentially, the vortex can also remove impurities, because as the energetic swirl is going, the impurities can drop out. That's another idea that we think. Some of this is still in the process of being studied. It may help pH. It'll help structure the water just like the fruit. If we vortex it, we believe we get more of the gel type consistency. And I'll let you guys tell me, but I find it just tastes better. So my water, it has been vortexed. It's got some lemon. It's got some electrolytes, a little extra sea salt. And I find the days that I am good about it, and I try to get my first liter in by about 1, and then the second one before 6, just because if you do it too late, you're going to be peeing in the middle of the night, which is a no-go. So we don't want to do that. But hydration is honestly about balance. It's not just about volume. So we focus so long on your 8 glasses, 2 liters, all these things. But what we really need is electrolytes and structure in our water. Treat it with great care. Water is what makes up most of our body. It's, like I said, it's well over 50%, 60% area. So why wouldn't we want the highest grade, the most charged, the most capable of getting intracellularly and giving us the hydration that our fascia, our muscles, our mitochondria need to work at a top performance level? And if you are feeling fatigue, brain fog, dizziness, constant hunger, start with this. It is an easy intervention, and sometimes the payoff is incredible.